Hey guys, it is Friday. If you missed class today, here's what you missed. The do now today is asking you about tectonic plates. Why or what are they? Why do we think, how do we know, maybe is even better. How do we know they exist? Um, Answer these two questions for you do know, and then we'll keep going. Remember, during live class, I asked you to keep your cameras on. Okay, after Science of the Day and a little review on Pear Deck, we're going to talk about some evidence in breakout rooms and then your quiz. We add that here. Add that here. Oh yeah, all right, let's keep it moving. This is Marie Thorpe. You might be doing a little bit of math in your head about how old she was when she passed away. She was an American geology and geologist. She is not geology. She is a geologist. You guys are just going to watch me making all these changes. That's okay. And she was an ocean cartographer. A cartographer makes maps, so she made maps of the oceans, and she helped at least make the first scientific map of the ocean. At the time that she made her maps, most people thought that the ocean was flat, the bottom of the ocean. But she showed that it has ridges and valleys, which we talked about this week, that are really important. And so her maps convinced people, like scientists, that that the ocean isn't flat. And well, if it's not flat, why not? And start thinking about it. Well, the only thing that could be is that there are tectonic plates. Absolutely. So there's a whole nice little animated video about her and how important her work was right here, and includes like she was a woman, so she wasn't even allowed to go out on the boats where they got all the details. So she had to sit back at the lab and wait for the men to bring her data. And then she like was a genius with all this data. It's really interesting. Go and watch that video when you get a chance. This is a map that was, I think an artist drew this map based on her data. This is now like, oh yeah, this is totally what it looks like. If you look at all these ridges here, ridge, all the under the ocean, and then all these subduction zones, all these trenches. Look at these trenches here and trenches there, and under this side, trenches here, and a big trench over here. These are where the some of the plates are going under. So some plates are, remember C4 spreading, making ridges, and some places one plate is going under another one. You can see that on here, and this is based on her work. Okay, remember, this week is all about the theory of continental drift, which is a theory in that it's like a scientific, like the theory of gravity or evolution. This is a theory that every scientists have taken on now, and there's so much evidence to support it that it's not a hypothesis anymore. It's not a possible idea, but it's like the idea that everything else is based on. And the idea is that the continents are moving, and they used to be all connected together, and they're still moving now. I want you to think about this activity from Tuesday. What two pieces of evidence did we get from this activity that made us know that tectonic plates are real and that they're moving? So go back and answer this question right on your slide. Then we looked at this yesterday on Thursday. What evidence for tectonic plate movements did we see in this map? Remember this idea of seafloor spreading. Remember the words trenches and ridges. Go back or answer this question on your slide, please. These are the four things we looked at this week. We looked in class about the continents, fossils and rocks, seafloor spreading. And then you guys watched a video about satellites yesterday or independent time. So these are four big pieces of evidence for the idea that continental drift is a thing, that the continents are actually moving. And the underlying scientific idea for why the continents are moving are this idea of continental plates. Tectonic plates. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today we're going to quickly work on writing with evidence. Remember that if you are writing an ACE, then you are answering the question with a claim, citing evidence to support it, and explaining your evidence. In science class, you're probably using a science idea. Remember that this is like a races response, so you might write an ELA in history, but I just take out the R and the S. Good evidence is hard to come by sometimes. To convince a scientist that an idea she thought was crazy is actually right, She needs to see strong evidence and lots of it. And this is exactly what happened with this idea of continental drift. Remember from Tuesday that Alfred Wegener had this idea way before any scientists really believed it. He was like, here's a little bit of evidence. They're like, yeah, but we don't believe that. We've been thinking about something different a long time. And so we really need a lot more evidence. And so over time, that evidence was found in the seafloor. After World War II is when they really mapped the seafloor. That was kind of like the big, strong last piece of evidence for them, for this idea. And they went, well, there's no way there'd be this ridge, there'd be the subduction zones, these trenches, without some reason behind it. And the idea of tectonic plates was that. So, and that's what I'm saying here, that other times good evidence is a fact that can only be true, like ridges exist. Okay, wait, why do they exist? It's only true if the science idea is true, if tectonic plates is true, are real and they're around. So what I want you to do on this slide is to take these, show you how to do this. I want you to read this card of evidence. Fossils of the same species that can't swim were found on different continents. Is that evidence that is relevant to the Earth is made of tectonic plates, our claim that the Earth is made of tectonic plates, or is that evidence not relevant? You're going to make a pile of all these evidence that's relevant and evidence is not relevant. And then I want you to watch a couple of videos, especially if you did not get to these on Friday. On Wednesday. I want you to take these 2 videos, answer these 2 questions about them, and then it's time for the quiz. That's it. I hope you guys have a good Friday.